Hello, everyone. It's Sarah from Miss Donnelly Reads. Thank you for joining me today. There is a lot happening, and I have been trying to figure out how to piece things together because sometimes it feels like we have made great advancements, and then other times it feels like we have not taken a single step forward in the last 50 or 60 years. I've been talking to one of my very dear friends who lives on the south side of Chicago, and it's all cops and firemen out there, and raising my children and telling them that when you're in trouble, look for the helpers, right? That's what Mr. Rogers says. And the helpers were always the firemen and the police officers. But I think we have come to the point where we can no longer assume that they are always helpers. They may be helpers to me and to my children who have blonde hair and blue eyes, but they may not be helpers to the students, the children that I have taught for almost the last 20 years. And that sort of divisiveness has been very difficult to understand. So in talking with a very dear friend, she had said, how do I tell my kids about this when they have been raised around cops and firemen, and they have been growing up with the children and know these men as dads, as humans, not as officers. So I was thinking about that, and I decided that if not now, when? So I told her about this book, All American Boys, and it struggles with the exact same thing that we are dealing with now. The book is 5 years old. The book could be 55 years old, and it holds true. It deals with two teenagers, one black, one white, and a white police officer, and just a bunch of missteps that turned into something very violent. And figuring out how this cop could have done that, right? So All American Boys is written by one of my absolute favorite authors, Jason Reynolds, and Brendan Kiely. And it's about these two boys, Rashad, who is black, and he is in the ROTC in high school, plans on going to the military. He's a good kid, gets good grades, he's on the basketball team. And Quinn, white kid, father died in Afghanistan, and his best friend has an older brother, and Paul is a cop. And so in just a sequence of events, Rashad goes to a convenience store. He's headed to a party and grabs a bag of chips. There's a white woman, fumbling around with bottles of wine, and she's crying, and Rashad trips over her. And the cop, Paul, sees Rashad and assumes that Rashad is stealing. And so he tries to forcibly stop Rashad. Rashad is trying to explain to him, you have the wrong idea. It wasn't me. I'm not stealing. Look, I've got money in my pocket. And it escalates. And then Paul assumes that Rashad is resisting arrest. And then he starts punching him and beats him until he's he's hospitalized. And there are two witnesses. There is the video camera, and there's Quinn. And Quinn does not understand, cannot figure out how this man, Paul, who was like a surrogate father to him, could be the same man who would beat a teenage boy his own age, that they were in the same class, beat him so badly that he puts him in the hospital. And so students at school start to rally. They come together. It's a Black Lives Matter movement, and Rashad is absent from school, and he's absent again and again and again and again. And so the students start protesting, and then they start writing on the sidewalk, "Where's Rashad? Where's Rashad?" And it starts to gain traction as a community thing and then a national thing. And just like where we are today, people's characters start to show, what's in their heart. begins to become very apparent. This book is told in tandem. So Jason Reynolds writes as Rashad's character and Brandon Kiely writes as Quinn's character, and the voices, you know, just tell this story of a powerful story. Is sometimes the people that we know and love are not the people that we know and love when they're out on the streets, you know, and it doesn't make it right. And so, you know, Paul's family starts to, you know, hey, Quinn, you know how you're real close to us, and Quinn feels like there's a loyalty there, you know, like he's got to stick with this family, until he starts realizing like what you did was wrong. And it is in him, that struggle, that pushes him to make decisions that he makes. And, you know, this book, you got to read it. You have to. I mean, if not now, when? In another 5 years? Another 55 years? Read the book. It's great stuff. Have a wonderful day. Take care. I'll see you later. Stay safe.